The H-1B petition is, I would say, the most common working visa that is available to immigrants in the United States. It is for a specialty worker who has an occupation in a field that normally requires a bachelor's degree in a specific field. So my most common example is a mechanical engineer who has a degree in mechanical engineering who has been hired by a firm to be a mechanical engineer at that engineering firm. So that's the most common example. Teachers can get H-1Bs, various professionals, accountants, etc. can get H-1Bs. Lots of people are eligible, but the number one thing that the USCIS wants to see is that connection between your degree and the work that you're going to be doing, and whether or not the company actually needs someone with that degree in that particular field. So a lot goes into the background of getting ready to file an H-1B petition. And I've got my resources on my desk today. I want to share with you some things that you may not realize about this petition, because there are a lot of traps for the unwary. And unfortunately, the folks that are going to get hurt are the foreign nationals and sometimes the companies that don't realize the requirements that go into this petition. So number one, let me show you my resources. We have 8 CFR, and as you can see, it's well marked. This is where you will find the H-1B regulations with the Department of Homeland Security. But there's more. Not only do we have those regulations, we also have 20 CFR. This is with Department of Labor. And H-1B is dealing not only with USCIS, it's also dealing with the Department of Labor. And the Department of Labor has a very important role to play, which I will explain to you in a moment. The next resource that I use quite a bit to help me where these regulations do not cover the answer is my Kurzbans. This has a lot of case law, and it also helps to clarify what the regulations are saying. So those are my 3 main sources. As far as websites go, I use a couple of websites, 3 websites every single time. I use a prevailing wage search wizard that is provided by Department of Labor. I use the ONET, which is the occupational handbook. It lists out various occupations and tells me whether or not most employers need to have a person with a specific degree to do a particular job. And then the last thing I use is a website called Flag, which is where I will file a particular document called a labor condition application. So just then I listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different places that I've got to go and pull information. Hope a lot of this is in my head, but for reference, I do go back and read my regulations. So the next thing I want you to be aware of are specifically the regulations regarding the Department of Labor. What do they require? Number one, you have to file a labor condition application on that Flag website that I mentioned. You have to show what is the level of wage. There's 4 different possibilities. You have to give information about the general occupational classification. So if we said maybe it is a computer data analyst, but the general occupational classification could be just data analyst. And so we would have to put those 2 things together in the labor condition application. And that needs to be filed. It usually takes 7 days for it to be certified and come back to me. And I'm not allowed to file the H-1B until that is done. So here comes the planning. The next thing that must be done is there needs to be a posting notice placed in the place of employment for this employee. 2 different places to notify U.S. workers that the employer is hiring an H-1B employee. And this is in the law right here in this red book. It says exactly what to do, how to do it. It even tells you where to put it. General places to put this, I usually give my clients the LCA. Other attorneys sometimes give a summary. It's as long as it meets the requirements, it should be fine. But general places I like to post this in the work location are in the workroom or on a bulletin board where the wage and hour notifications are. So if you go in any office, there's usually a few posters around talking about wage and hour rules. that's where I would post this posting about the H-1B. And the next thing that I think is not done, but it can really get you in a lot of trouble, is that employers fail to have a public access file. The public access file, once again, it's in this book of rules, tells you exactly what needs to be in there, explains where the public access file needs to be, and it is for U.S. employees. If they would like to see more information about this H-1B, they can request to review the public access file. And so for that reason, I never keep the public access file, never advise my employers to put it with the employee's personnel records. You keep the public access files in a different location because only certain things need to be in that public access file, not the H-1B employee's personal or personnel records with the company. So as you can see, I've just talked a lot. I can tell I'm already at 6 minutes, and there's still so much more to discuss with this case. It is complicated. Take it seriously. If you're trying to file this on your own, be sure that you read the rules. Be sure that you feel like your employee is qualified before you start filing paperwork. Because not only do we have rules specifically with Department of Labor, they also have penalties. And so what I tell my clients, I'm very strict with this. And I say I would rather be strict and do the extra thing than have my client have to pay a penalty or have their name plastered on the DOL website. We're not going to do that. So we're going to play it very safe with H-1Bs, and we have a good success rate because of that. Let me know if you have any additional questions, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos as they come available.